I'm Savion Clay, a Goetic who summons devils and angels. I want revenge on my wicked father, Warwick Clay, who's holed up in a demon-filled fortress beneath the red sun. My shadow memento is a portable weather station. I've modified it to be my cage when I use my forte to cage adversaries. It's waiting for my father.
I'm the Cicatrix. Yes, that's the Cicatrix, and only Atrix to my closest pals. I've been to the pale and beyond, both in body and through astral projection. I'm restoring the Order of Honed Thought to glory, and determined to recruit my weaver friend Seru. He's a hard sell, but my argument is sharpened like a fine steel blade.
I'm Incalia Singale, eater of knowledge, meddler of minds. I don't want to kill you, but I'm happy to rearrange your brain furniture if I deem it necessary. I make objects, like my mask, the haunt of the wood, to help me do that. So if you see me wearing horns, you know someone, maybe even you, is in trouble.
I am Seru, a stoic weaver who splinters into fragments. I craft art and magical implements out of glass and weave together the magic of blood and fire. Even my body is like glass. It shatters and reforms when I'm struck. I am gathering materials to create a perfect magical glass sword.
Previously on The Raven Wants What You Have. The Vizsla confronted Savion Clay's diabolical father, Warwick Clay, within his tower in the Red Sun. Fighting past guardians, magic protection, and familial guilt, Savion finally caged his father. However, Warwick now claims to have been possessed by a demon for years.
All right, so here we are in the red. Savion has achieved what he sought, and your father is in the cage. However, he's saying to you, "Son, I'm so sorry for the things that have done and the things that were in your childhood. I've been possessed by this demon."
I doubt that's true, I say, and I change the ability for him to speak for now.
Okay.
Just quiet him up.
Looking at you pleadingly.
I put
There's
my
an expression on his
gosh.
face that you've never seen before.
Can I
There's
see
got to
if
be a
he's...
way that we can determine whether he's lying.
Yeah, I'm really good at
Because
understanding
I'm sure
people's
he's lied to me
motivations.
his entire life.
That's true. There's certainly a way. I have an incantation that frees a being from possession.
You do?
Yeah. A marionette's soul is worth no less. But I don't know if I can cast it in your thing. I don't know if you believe him.
He would have to be out of...
Oh,
Well, let
to
me
do
let
that.
me just try understanding people's motivations and see if I
Okay.
have a sense of whether or not he's telling the truth. You don't have to
So-
I think I just need to see him, right?
Okay, but we are out here in the front of his castle.
We're inside
tower.
still?
We're inside,
Or are we?
But should we...
You're sort of in front.
Let's see to these people that
Oh,
he's
right.
been
So you can-
torturing.
Okay.
And,
Pretty... You're right there next to them. You can easily
Get them
unshackle
out.
them.
And are they...
They look much the worse for wear, but they're alive
Okay.
and not in critical condition.
Okay, great. That's a good start.
And they're very grateful. Oh, thank you. And they're rubbing their manacled wrists.
I have so many questions, but we have other things, so...
So can we loot this place and get out of here and head to the garden and your legacy cache?
I would... He probably has a lot of information here about the Red, knowing my father, right? He's been here for who knows how many years. So it would be a good idea to try and find out as much as possible. I would like to give you an opportunity to speak with him. I don't trust anything he
maybe
says.
when we take... I'm sure we're all going to need to rest pretty soon, so maybe when we take a rest, I can talk. I can sort of see what my sense of him telling the truth is. Or not.
I'm exhausted. I haven't gone through almost all my resources. So.
Okay, so do we care? Do we think that the legacy stuff is in here? It's near.
I believe I was told that it was it's near here
Okay.
by the girl from the other shore.
Okay.
Well, let's find out. Let's search this place. If my father really has been possessed, that would be... I don't know. I would have to reassess how I thought about him for many years, but maybe he could be helpful in finding out about that legacy. Either way.
So we maybe take a minute to just search the place, find out what assets are here and what dangers might remain before we take a rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take a quick search of this tower. It's fairly large, but there's nothing left. There's nothing left alive in it. There are no more demons or anything like that. There are no more victims, right? There's just the two who are now resting as comfortably as possible, sheltered from still the harsh winds and the harsh conditions of the Red. You give this place a search, and it seems as though each one of these ribcage-like halls seems to be almost like a temple or a chapel of some kind, perhaps devoted to some different evil, dark entity. They're pretty horrific to go into. They give you, your skin literally crawls as you step into them. So you find yourselves probably not wanting to spend very much time in there. The tower itself has got a place where obviously some of the demon guardians dwelled. Those places don't seem to contain anything much of interest to you as mortal humans. But at the top of the tower, of course, is Warwick's his chambers of his own, and they are interesting. Inside there, you find lavish furnishings. It's very comfortable in there. Somehow he's even made it so that it's the temperature is comfortable, and it's actually pretty pleasant and comfortable, although still kind of dark, as seems to be befitting his nature. Or perhaps the demon who's possessing him's nature. You're not really sure at this point. But you do find, like, if looting is, you used the word, not me, but if that is of interest to you.
Did I use the word?
You do find a small coffer that has a number of orbs in it. There's 10 gem orbs and 50 crystal orbs. And 6 mage coins, all gathered together in that coffer. There's
heritage, Savion.
Also a couple of interesting objects that probably particularly catch Incalia's eye. You find a what looks like a talisman that's kind of been draped over a candlestick next to the bed, and you find in a chest of drawers next to shaving implements and soap and other toiletries, you find a carefully stored poultice.
Hey, that's cool.
And lastly, there is a very nice looking ring set with an emerald, also in that same drawer. And there is another ring that is dark gray and made of stone. So 2 rings, a poultice, and a talisman.
Okay. I would like to take a minute and see if I can discern what all of these or any of these do.
Okay. Since you're not under really any time pressure, you discover what all of them are.
Oh, lovely. I will relay this information. So we have a ghost prison. And I can we can trap the next ghost that attacks us.
Cool.
That's what the talisman is.
That is the talisman. And then the dark gray ring allows the wearer to become a shadow.
Is that an ephemeral object or is that an object of power, the next one you're looking at?
Both of the rings are objects of power.
Both of the rings are objects of power. So here, I'll do the ephemera first. So that's the ghost prison and lupine majesty, which allows you to become a werewolf. So that's awesome. And then, so the one ring is lets you become a shadow, so you can't affect anything, but you can pass through matter. Your eyes are so big. And then the other one is a transient ring, and it caused people to be subconsciously pleased.
Right, that's a kindled item.
That is beautiful. That is excellent.
Very nice.
Well, I'll hold the poultice if you like.
I sort of feel like, Savion, this is like your... right, these are your...
I can split it up, though. Plus, I don't have any ability to take ephemeral objects.
Okay, well, I can put these in my bag. I can put them all in my bag for now, if that's useful.
Sounds like you like the ring of power, though, that allows you to become a shadow.
It appeals to me because of my nature, but I also have
You are my shadow
astral travel. It's true. But other people may have other uses for it. So.
Well, we can throw them in my bag, or
That
we can
sounds
do
great.
whatever.
Well, I'll hold on to the Lupin poultice.
Okay.
Finish because it.
Well,
I'm like, this is weird because Sarah is normally very laid back, but right now I'm like just focused and like pacing.
Yeah,
like, what's
yeah.
next? Okay, I'm ready. I'm just right there. So, and it's weird for him too.
We're very close to your glass garden.
I just gotta keep forcing myself to calm down. So we're okay. I don't need to, strike out
Yeah.
at things.
would you like this ring?
I will take it for that one.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
I'll take the
Thank
the
you.
ring of the transient ring, which helps with interaction,
Nice.
because it's kind of what I do.
Cool.
Nice.
Umbra. This is
And
lovely.
I don't have room for
I can put that in my bag for now.
Ghost
The
Prison, which
Ghost
is
Prison.
very useful.
That is so handy.
It is lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, she made it herself.
I did make it myself. It's gorgeous.
So there is one other thing of interest in Warwick's room, and that is he has some books and some journals, and again, because you're not under any severe time pressure, you've got some time to look through them, and you find some interesting notes and maps of the local area,
Oh,
and it includes directions toward the Garden of Living Soil, which
Wow.
you learned about a few last session. And there is an interesting note because right next to the label where on the little map where it shows the garden, there is a note that just simply says legacy ? Right by the garden.
Lovely.
Man, that's a hell of a place to put a legacy cache, or a hell of a place to have a demon garden. This is
Right
going to
next to
be
each other.
curious.
The demons and the angels.
Yeah.
Should we rest?
Yeah, let's
Like a full
recover
night?
our strength a little bit.
So that will be a chance that my father can escape. But let me just ask the GM.
How about we just rest an hour?
Okay.
We can go to the garden and then we can go home.
Is an hour going to help you, though?
Mm-hmm. I do have an hour
okay.
left.
Okay, great.
I mean, at least give me my sorcery back, which is what I need to
Okay.
resist the escape attempt that I'm sure is coming.
An hour?
Well, not after an hour, it won't.
Right, it's per day.
It's per day.
Right, but after an hour, I can get my sorcery back.
I know.
So we rest an hour?
At least.
Yep.
Yeah.
Start off with an hour.
Okay.
Okay. An hour later, you're all feeling. You've got your breath back. The tension has gone out of your shoulders a little bit.
Lots of an action.
This is, at least in Warwick's room, this is as nice as places get in the red, basically. But it's still not the greatest place you've ever been, as far as comfort and relaxation.
I kind of want to not deal with my father until we get back to Saturn, so...
Seems great.
Let's hustle.
Yeah.
Do we, how far does the garden seem to be from here?
You think you can probably reach there in another hour, 2 hour walk?
Let's do it.
Probably closer to 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure that the people in the castle or in the tower know the way to town, and that they feel like they're okay.
Yes,
staying
you
here by
find out
themselves
that's where they're from.
Oh, okay, great.
And so they are
Okay.
happy once they eat a little bit of the food that Warwick has here, and they feel a little better. And you've ministered to them,
Perfect.
so they're just going to make it back to Ephesus.
Lovely. Okay. Let's be on our way.
I'll cast another instance of Flesh and Metal myself while we're traveling, just to be on the safe side.
Good idea.
And we will start off with a new card on the Invisible Sun.
Ooh.
So now we are enhancing indigo magic and diminishing gray magic, and that'll be for the rest of the session. We're also favoring the Notions family.
Nice.
And the card is Dangerous Elixir.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Off to the garden / legacy.
And is
We
it getting
go.
to be like sundown sort of time?
Well, let's see. So you left Ephesus in the morning. You've had a confrontation and rested. So it's probably early afternoon, getting on to mid-afternoon. You expect to reach the garden before the sun sets. You don't know if you'll make it all the way back to town before the sun sets.
Okay.
All right.
Do we need to make it back to town? Like, could we just see if the demon can take... I mean, if we get everything we need at the garden...
We can then summon the demon.
Right, and I'm connected to Bode.
Ketchup?
Kamak. And Kamak was able to get you across the ridge very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
We hightail it.
Yeah, let's move.
Ooh, before we leave, is there a larder of food in here?
Oh, yeah.
I want to grab a bunch of that so I can bring Kamak.
Oh,
smart.
Okay.
That is really smart.
If you don't mind putting them in your pockets.
Sigh. Load all the raw sausages and
All right.
sweetmeats.
Okay. Well, so the trek across the wastelands of the Red is arduous and dry and unpleasant, but it is also uneventful. And you see up ahead, in stark contrast to the glowing, dusty red desert around you, there is a wall. You're clearly seeing perhaps the garden, but it is surrounded by a high, probably 15, 16 foot high wall. So you just see this wall in the distance. It's made of like a charcoal gray stone.
I hope we'll find the object you're looking for the Haendassa.
Me
We'll
too.
have to keep an eye out.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
As you get closer, you can see that the top of the wall has black iron spikes that jut out of the top of it.
Sure, nothing bad's going to happen here.
Sure.
Right. I sort of feel like we survived that last experience. We can survive anything, which I'm sure will come back to bite us.
You get close to the wall. You, at least on this side of the garden, you don't see a gate or anything, but you haven't seen at all the entire perimeter of it.
I think we'll just keep going around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make your way around this wall, kind of following it along, and you do indeed eventually come upon a large black iron wrought gate that keeps it closed, and there's a big padlock on the front of it, a big red metal padlock, just oversized and giant.
Can we see through the gate?
You can, and so inside, kind of in sharp contrast to everything that you've seen around you, you see all these green plants, these flowering, beautiful looking plants of all different kinds. But you look a little closer, and for example, there's a bunch of roses, and they're all near the front gate. But you see that within the sort of the heart of each rose bloom, there's what looks like a human eye, and it's blinking and looking at you.
We were warned not to become part of the garden, so let's be careful here.
Seru, remind me, what did that gentleman in town say about the gardener? Is he a demon, a ghost? Didn't he tell you something?
I think he told me it was a gardener.
Yes.
We assumed it was a demon.
We assumed it was a demon. Okay. Couldn't remember. Okay.
Big padlock, huh?
I aggressively bang on the gate.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
Still in full blade mode.
Yeah.
The blade is still
Rotating
sort
above
of-
your head.
How long does that last?
Till sundown.
Oh, man.
You just take this padlock and just rip it off.
There are things I could do. But if there's someone in there, I always want to give them the opportunity to open for us.
Quickly.
Okay. All that seems to sort of happen are that those rose petal eyes focus on you a little bit more, but other than that, there's nothing. You hear deeper within the garden kind of a low, horrible moan sound.
All right.
Oh, no. I think I know.
Idolatry is the antithesis of virtue, and I just wave my hand, and I'm going to destroy the gate.
Oh,
The whole
cool.
gate?
Okay. All right.
Jeez.
That's delightful.
The gate crumbles and it's got to be level 7 or less. The gate crumbles. The padlock just lays on the ground amidst the dust and the remains of the gate.
Seru, I like this side of you.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I guess we're going in.
I'll step in.
Okay.
Where's the moan coming from?
As you step in, The magic now enhanced is red, which always means that blue is diminished. So we're looking at violence and destruction and not things of the mind. It's the imprisoning ice. And the family is notions.
Okay.
All right. You
We
enter the garden.
The big fist blade. We need a new name.
Yeah.
Now beyond these weird roses, there's a lot of what look like sort of conventional looking plants, and it's all very well tended. It's all strangely beautiful in the red. And as you move forward, you see another new kind of strange sort of unnatural plant. There's these long vines and there seems to be gourds kind of growing along the edge of these vines, but each gourd looks like a face. Some of them a few of them are human faces, but some of them are like a cat's face or a dog's face or a bird, and they look at you. They move.
Oh my goodness.
These strange gourds look at you as you come by, and one of the human faces just kind of whispers, "Who are you?"
Aww.
I'm focused. I'm going to kind of make my way towards the middle of this place so I can look around and just assess a grid-like pattern of where is this thing that I want.
Yeah,
Okay.
It is called the Shard of Hate.
I think it's a shard of pure hate.
Shard of Pure Hate. I will ask the thing that said, "Who are you?" I say, "We are visitors looking for the Shard of Pure Hate."
Who are you?
Aww.
Let's keep running.
Okay. You reach what seems to maybe be the center of this garden, and that's where it gets perhaps the most disturbing, because what you see are a great number of people, and they are all shackled to the ground, and it looks as though they have been here perhaps a very, very long time, but they are all alive and growing literally out of their flesh are these beautiful, beautiful flowers with bright, brilliant red petals that look almost like glass. And they're most of them don't even seem to register that you're even there. And those that do just kind of moan in mild agony. And as you are looking at all of this, the gardener appears. He comes from the other side of the garden. And it looks very much like a brass cube moving through the air, and every single face of the brass cube bears a pair of fluttering wings, and they're all fluttering, moving around, and dangling from one face of this cube is just this one single long multi-jointed arm, and even as it flies toward you rather purposefully, you can see that it plucks a dead leaf off of one plant, and it kind of tends the garden as you move forward. But here's the strange thing. With your knowledge of such things, this isn't a demon. It's an angel.
Oh,
Wow.
I will say that I know that's an angel.
Scale down my violent intent by about 12%.
I think this one might need to go to the pinion. Seems to have erred in its ways.
Pinion Court.
Pinion Court.
Wow.
Is it coming toward us?
Mm-hmm.
Is it coming toward us with purpose?
Mm-hmm.
I will kind of step to the front.
Okay.
Do your thing. Talk to the angels.
That's my thing. I'm going to let Seru take
Okay.
take center stage here for a second. Unless he asks for my own.
Sarah's been doing pretty well.
The red light in his eyes is kind of unnerving.
A voice comes from out of the cube, even though it doesn't appear to have a mouth. And it says, "You are not to be here.
I am here for a shard of pure hate so that I can create a beautiful sword. Will you yield? Will you bargain? Or will you fight?
Oh my god, Seru.
The voice says, I do not tend these plants for you.
Don't make me repeat myself.
I've had a vision of a legacy, artifact left here. Clearly, I've been chosen by the creator that you serve yourself. We're here with purpose. We've been drawn here by many threads of fate. I assure you that fate has decreed that we should be here. We don't want to interfere with any of your works, but there are things that the legacy demands we do. I don't know that that's true, but I'm certainly going to say it very
Seems
emphatically.
reasonably true. As you say it more and more, I become.
Go ahead and roll for that interaction.
Yeah, I will. All right, I'll spend my. Gonna put some oomph into it. All right. My venture is 4.
Okay.
And I rolled 2 6s.
How do I know that you are worthy of the legacy?
I will jump in, I guess, and I say we have, as all Vizsla do, we serve, as many Vizsla do, we serve the legacy. We are here looking for a legacy cache, which we know to be nearby. If we find
How
it,
do I know you are worthy of the legacy?
I think you should show it work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I say we have just recently defeated a terrible entity of working with demons. I say, and I will reveal work in the cage. And captured this mortal who was working with demons. I'm not going to actually give my familial.
How do I know you are worthy of the legacy?
How do you want us to prove it?
It doesn't apply.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, give us just 1 second. You still have an angel with you, right? No, your angel's gone.
disappeared.
Worthy of the legacy. That is goodness, right? And
What does our
angelic.
raven plate say?
Oh yeah, let's take our yes,
Good
good call.
Where did all this start?
Right, let's put our ravens together and see what happens.
Okay, each one of you pulls out an amulet, a raven. Each one of them moves
This could go
together,
very badly.
fluttering
Yeah.
wings, forming a single vision, a single image of the 4 ravens. But then that image disappears and it becomes a flat plate. And when that happens, there is a strange and mysterious rune that appears on the face that none of you immediately recognizes. But then this voice comes from the cube and it says, "You are worthy of the
Well
legacy."
done, Atrix. Well done. Okay.
The key.
And
Thank you.
It moves to the very center of the garden, which seems to be at the center of this horror show of people trapped against the ground. And with its long arm, it thrusts that arm into the ground.
Oh my god.
Not into any of the people, but just into the soil that that they surround. And it pulls out what looks like a small chest. And it is this beautiful chest of silver and gold set with lovely, lovely blue gems. And it holds it out with this long hand to just sort of everyone.
I'll hold it. How big is it? Is it like
its hand is larger than yours, so it holds it in one hand, but it's about this big.
I'll hold it with two, but I'll let you try to help me open it.
Yeah, does it seem to be
Locked
in any way? Or
It does seem to be sealed.
Okay. So we'll take a few.
It's actually not locked, but like the seam has been filled with silver.
Oh my goodness.
Say thank you for your trust in us. In the tongue of angels.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Very nicely.
But you still need.
It doesn't say anything.
Maybe the shards in here?
Oh, maybe.
I think the shards are around us, and I think the angel will not appreciate a shard being taken.
There are shards of glass all around you that are growing as petals from these
We're
flowers.
We're going to have to ask for that or trade for that or something.
I'm going to just kind of feel out with my weaver magic and just try and get a sense of which of these relates to passion and hatred, which is the most suitable sort of piece.
They all seem to be the same. I mean, in their nature. Some of them, not so much from your weaver knowledge, but from your craftsman knowledge, appear. Some of them appear to be even more beautiful and appropriate for what you want to use them for. So you could pick the nicest piece, but they all seem to have the exact same nature and would serve the same purpose for you.
I'll ask the angel and say, may I take one? Do I need to bargain with you?
It says, the garden no longer serves a purpose.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
And it just begins floating away.
It was just to protect the legacy.
Go ahead and
Holy
flex
cow.
to your, as you may.
Then I'm going to take the most beautiful pieces of pure hatred glass that I can find.
Okay.
Let's see if we can open this box.
Yeah.
All right. So you said it's sealed with silver.
I'm wondering if some fire, if we can melt the silver out. I don't want to destroy the contents, but
Or the box.
right. But I wonder if that's a way to differentially pull that metal out that's sealing it.
You know, can I just spend a few minutes looking at it with my skills and see if I can
Sure.
assess the easiest way to open? Okay. So I have a level in understanding, assessing, and identifying materials, and I'm going to use my intellect just to get rid of my vex, mostly. Oh, you know what? I can spend more, so I'll spend 2 above that. So I have a venture of 3.
Okay.
And I roll a 1.
Basically, what you determine is that if you wanted to, remove this nicely and easily without, like, just tearing it apart or whatever, you'd probably prefer to be, like, in a nice workshop environment.
Okay, so we should take that back.
Yeah.
What I don't know is if there's a gift for the Haendassa in that box.
There's the legacy cache.
Seems viable, right?
I mean, my wish was just to discover the legacy cache and learn what is in it. I don't necessarily, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the triumph for the Order of Hone Truth. Just to find it, to discover it, to be the person, to bring it back. Whatever's inside, I'm happy
enough.
I'm hoping that there will be something. I assume there will be something suitable for the Haendassa.
I would think so. I would hope so. I do want to take just a really quick kind of walk around the garden because I'm super interested, and also just to make sure that, like, the gift doesn't come from somewhere else in this space. Right. So I just want to kind of walk around and look, because I mean this is super cool and interesting and informative, and not take super long, but just a few minutes and sort of check it out and keep an eye open in case something else calls to me.
So there are all manner of interesting growing things here. Plants that you've never heard of. You don't really have a background in knowledge of such things, so it's difficult to sort of ascertain if any of these would be particularly valuable, but you're guessing that a few of them might be very rare specimen that, you could take a bloom from.
Yeah.
You could try to transplant if you thought you could make it all the way back home with it.
Yeah, I think I would certainly try to take like seeds to dry or something that seem useful for ingredients for making things. So yeah, I would definitely just
That is right up your alley. You
Yeah.
could definitely find some things
Okay.
that you think would make fantastic materials.
Okay, great.
Of substantially high level.
Lovely.
Can we free these people? Or are they pretty far gone, the ones that have the hate plants growing out of them?
You don't see a way that you think that anything short of death is going to be a release for these people.
Is that what we are willing to give them?
Maybe. If they're not being tended, they're just going to die of starvation and exposure in the red. Right? We'll take care of that, obviously.
I have concerns about that. If the legacy has decreed that these people are for this purpose, do we step in with that?
It doesn't serve its purpose anymore, though. So
Yeah,
Maybe these people deserve this fate. If the angel is here tending
this is
shards
very
of
possible.
pure hate, perhaps we should leave.
Yeah, shards of pure hate, I wouldn't imagine come from very nice people.
Yeah.
Unless, I don't know. Remind me what the garden is called.
The Garden of Living Soil.
Thank you.
How do I feel carrying this shard around?
When you touch it with your bare skin, you can feel it starting to kind of make you angry. But if you put it in a pocket or wrap it in cloth or anything, that affects C.
I will do both of those things because that, coupled with my mood of being, acting like a secret soul, I'm like,
Please don't turn into a werewolf also right now.
I actually think I'm just going to wait by the destroyed gate just to let you all know that I'm ready. I'm ready to get out of here.
Okay, so I'm assuming maybe you're going to try to summon while I'm wandering around the garden.
And so by the time you're done, maybe, what do I need to roll to bring Kamak back for a second time?
I've got the meat. I'll put the meat outside the circle.
Okay. So this time, Kamak is willing. So you don't need to make a roll. He's willing to come and hear what you have to offer.
All right, well, I offer the meat, and all right, I think that's just like what I gave last time. So, look, another great, fantastic meal.
Kamak is in his huge, hulking bear form with big black wings and curling horns. He says, last time there was magic.
Is there anyone? Do you have a...
The garden is full of magic, too.
I can invigorate your blood.
Feels really good.
And he seems to be considering that, but then he begins to look around at where you are. And
have a bite now and come back later. How about it?
He says, the gardener is gone.
The gardener is gone.
And then he says, this garden will not last long here, but I have first choice. And he goes over to one of those blooms that's growing up out of one of these people and just tears it from them. The person gives out kind of a pained, and he just takes the bloom with all the different shards of hate in it, and he just feasts on it. He just swallows the whole thing, and that hatred just seethes within him, and you can see he visibly grows, and you can sense that it's quite possible that and you'll want to remember this for later, Kamak may have just gotten more powerful and higher level. So you're going to have to be able to summon a more powerful demon to get Kamak to come back again.
Wow.
But in this particular case, he says, he holds out his claws. He says, I will carry you.
Can I take a minute and end these poor people's lives, or do I think that was a quick but horrible death that he just inflicted on that guy?
That guy probably is dead now, but there are dozens more.
I think it would take too long to kill them all.
It's not our dog show. so to speak. I was saying that I couldn't quite come up with.
Apparently that's a Vizsla saying.
Yes.
That's not our dog show.
All right,
Working on it.
I look really conflicted, but I just, this is all going to go downhill very fast. So I let myself be plucked by one of those horrible claws of Kamek.
All right. Grabs the two of you, gets the two of you to
Put on my
get on
goggles.
his back. At this point, the red sun is getting low on the horizon. And so, amid the moans of pain from this horrific garden, as those sounds recede, he takes wing, lifts you up into the air, and begins gliding off toward the rage. As before, he seems to have these strange, mysterious shortcuts where he just seems to be jumping in space and maybe even time as he makes his way through these storms. It takes a little bit longer this time because you were well outside the rage in the garden. And it isn't actually until you get to the rage that he seems to be able to take these weird little shortcuts. But he deposits you back next to two tall boulders, one piled on top of each other.
I snagged my leather bracelet.
It's long gone.
Oh,
sorry.
That's okay. If I wanted it that much, I would.
The winds here are so strong that it just probably tore away, and doesn't seem like this is the kind of place where materials like leather and whatnot last very long.
Fair. All right. Well, I'm gonna are we down?
Kamak puts you on the ground and takes to the air in his big back winds, and he laughs with hate. A more powerful demon than ever.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I transformed a monster into a bigger monster. Excellent. I will try to contact Bode. Telepathically.
Okay. Your ability doesn't seem to be able to stretch beyond.
We need to get through the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there that crack in reality still?
So the last time you looked, or I think it was Seru who looked, he kind of saw it, but wasn't quite sure. So you're still going to have to try to find it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll search around.
Okay. So someone needs to make a roll to find that. You're going to use perception.
I have a level 1 searching too.
Okay. Great.
You want to give me some sword ledge?
Oh, I have sword ledge.
Okay.
Plus, you have still +3 from your blade.
That's only attacks and damage.
Oh, it's only attacks. Okay.
I'll just attack reality itself. I better roll a 4 and a 3, and I venture up 2.
Okay. So you remember where you looked before. It's the oddest thing. It's like looking at something that's purely two-dimensional.
Cool.
You know, you're looking at it, and there it is, but then you move your head slightly, and it's gone again.
Wow.
So it takes you a while to get right to the position where you can see it, but then there is this crack. But on this side, it is not glowing red. It is glowing brilliant, dark indigo.
Oh, yay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. How long does your Starlight Servant last?
Until the sundown.
Oh, okay. So it's
When the sun next rises.
when the sun next rises. Okay, so it's still around.
Yeah.
So
No, it's just following me.
yeah.
Ready to make tea at a moment's notice.
So the five of you then pass through this rent in the actuality, and you find yourself in the dark. And there's a cold stone floor underneath you, walls around you.
Does the Starlight Servant actually give off light?
Just a
Not
tiny
very
bit of
much.
light, just
Okay.
enough so that you can see that there's a staircase up proceeding from here.
That would be great. And now,
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, I'm going to try to contact Bode again and see if I'm close enough.
Okay. At this point, he replies telepathically, and he says, "Oh, back so soon. I'll be there to unlock the door."
Thank you.
I hope you will. The zealot?
Zealot.
Yeah, that we found out he is. All right, you've got us some fire?
Some light so we can,
Up we
Okay,
go.
on we go.
All right. You pass through this place that slowly spirals up and up, cut right through the rock that makes up the undersling. And you make your way up to this doorway that you know leads into this alleyway. And the door is closed.
Just to be clear, I think that legacy cash thing I probably stored in the pocket.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
Is there anything else you don't want to be showing off? But
I don't think so.
okay, so I've just got that, and
When your dad is covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay, let's try that door.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You're guessing almost sundown, and the door does not open.
damn.
And instead, you hear from the other side Bode's voice that says, "There is, of course, a return fee."
Hi, Bode.
I have a ring that lets me slip through cracks in darkness.
Okay.
But he's very powerful. So
Let's
I don't
see
know
what
if
his
we wanna
fee
piss
is
him off.
before we
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
punch him in the face, maybe.
That's an interesting time to announce that. I say. Not necessarily putting you in our good books, but what is the fee?
It's the same as
What was it for?
a gem orb each.
I think I still have enough to do that.
We'll give you one gem orb if you
Well,
let us in, or you get none.
He says through the door, you're not in a position to bargain. The door fee is the door fee.
how many gem orbs did you get from your
I have a
dad?
key that I could get through.
I'm just worried that we don't know what his powers
Getting
are.
through the door is not the hard
We
part
can get
here.
through. Can we get through him?
I have
Whisper.
enough gem orbs. I mean, I got 10 gem orbs.
I have one. I have enough for one.
I have some orbs.
I say, well, yes, we could pay you. If you're willing to get on our bad side, we will pay you.
How about
There's no reply.
Yeah, he's not
Alright.
worried about us.
All
I
right.
don't
How about we,
think.
I think we should throw in a fight from Mr. Big Punch here. Could you use some extra coin tonight? Some excited customers. We'll pay you a little less, and
Right, well, how long does your...
You're
I'm
offering.
running out.
You're offering Seru's
Sarah's like, what?
Wait a minute.
ability to fight, and your ability
You're
lasts
free to
until
tell me
sundown,
Sundown.
which is moments away.
Perhaps we should get consent from Seru before we...
I mean, I'm feeling on the edge right now. So
okay.
I guess,
So he says through the door,
You know what?
I'd prefer to just simply take the fee, but Seru is welcome to fight in cadavers at any time.
I have those. That's pretty much free gem orbs at this point, just because I have them.
yeah.
Yeah,
from
I'm
my father.
tired.
I say, yes, we will pay you.
I don't want to
Okay.
haggle with this
We
guy.
have some right here.
Okay. A secret little slot opens up, just
Jeez.
big enough
Because we
for
could have
you
used our wicked key, too, to get through.
Yeah, we're
to
gonna
save
want
4
those.
gem orbs.
Yeah,
exactly.
that seems
This
silly.
is a bad idea. So, yep, 4 gem orbs it is.
And our honor of not giving into this
Yeah.
jerk.
Yeah, I know. It's just on the principle of it.
oh, thank
What?
you, Savion.
All right. Well, once you put the gem orbs through, you hear a key in the lock, and the door opens up. And he says, "I hope to see you in the club sometime." Specifically to you.
Thank you, Bone.
I don't thank him. I specifically do not thank him, and we leave.
All right.
I'm with you.
Jerk.
So you can make ready to return back to Fartown
Yes,
and
please.
your homes, and that's where we'll end the session before we get to the character.
Before we end, do you want me to take the legacy box to work on
Yeah.
between now and when we see each other again? Okay,
That
so
sounds
I'll take
great.
the legacy box home with me.
Perfect.
All right. Well,
Okay.
That was-
lots happened.
Yeah.
It's actually
Holy cow.
2 sessions worth of
Right. Sorry.
character summaries because we skipped them last time because we just had one big long story to tell. Let's start with Incalia.
Okay, so I realized that I went in unprepared to the red and the demons, and nothing that I can do actually affects beings. And so I felt like I was really struggling to help. So felt really glad that I had the wicked key. I feel very I'm glad that we didn't die because I thought for a little bit that we were going to. And it was really cool to see Sarah like like open himself up and give us his secret soul. And like, that's a lot of trust, and that's really wonderful. I'm really nervous that I didn't get what I needed from the red, because we haven't opened this box yet, and I need a gift for the Haendassa. And so like, I'm glad that I went and helped my friends, but I am nervous that I don't have any idea whether or not I have done the thing that the tablet and the ravens told me to do. So I leave this feeling very apprehensive about that.
All right. Well, the accomplishing a trip to your first time to a different sun is definitely a big deal. I'm guessing something for a log of war would be, it's more knowledge, more information than you've ever had before, encountering all these things you've never seen before. That's definitely worth a joy.
Cool.
And then, of course, there might be some group awards after that. All right, Seru.
This is a very intense couple of sessions for Seru. We went to the red, which she's never done before. I used my magic to heal a building, which was pretty wild. And I thought I was very, very useful in all my weaving on this trip. Blasted a bunch of demons, revealed my secret soul to my friends, which, as you said, is a big sign of trust because you can use that against me. But it was like being on a lot of enhancing drugs all at once. And it was like very, very exciting. And now I'm just kind of coming off that high and like, okay, I need to remember the person that I am normally when I'm not so focused and driven about that sort of thing. So it was like a really great vacation, but now I'm ready to come home and like sleep for a few days and just kind of recenter myself.
That makes perfect sense. Well, so I'm going to let you decide. Given the fact that in order to succeed at this, you had to reveal your secret soul, does that feel more like something? Does it feel more like a joy or a despair for Seru?
I think it feels more like a joy because he does trust his friends and he knows that they're not going to use this against him. And
all right,
might come to an advantage someday.
All right, so that's a joy for you. It's also 2 acumen for a major step in the creation of your sword.
Nice. Yeah.
What about Savion?
Well, I think pretty much the entire point of this trip for me was to find my father and cage him, which I have now done. And so that was this wonderful moment of triumph, which was ruined in the very moment by his plaintive cry of claiming that it was none of his fault and it was a demon possession. So he's a little torn and doesn't know quite what to think. He's not happy. He thought the revenge would be so sweet, and yet that's been taken from him.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, so that is the confrontation portion of your revenge arc, which is 3 acumen. But It sounds like you're considering this a despair, technically a failure. You don't feel like you got the vengeance that you wanted, so it's despair, not joy. Even though you did successfully imprison him, it's not really what you wanted. All right, so all that's left in your arc then is just a resolution, which may involve figuring out whether he's telling the truth or not. Great. All right, and
so I think both Darcy and Atrix feel physically ill at the events that have happened today. And I think one of the biggest things I'm coming away with over these last 2 sessions is that I felt like I have all of these abilities that I've amassed and all of this cool individual path of magic that I've pursued. And it's all been about me. And I think I felt so powerless to help my shadow pal, with his father, and like none of my spells would affect him. And I felt powerless to help these people because I would try to affect Warwick, and it was affecting this downstream stream of people, and having to leave all those people with the hate shards felt really horrible. And especially when my whole goal was to restore this order of honed thought. Like, what example am I setting if it's all just people pursuing things for themselves? So I think I'm happy I got the legacy cache. I'm thrilled and confused that it was the Raven key that helped us do it. And so I'm curious about that. But I think it's possible that Atrix might want to start down some growth in the future about reorienting herself to to be able to use her abilities to help people too, or at least her friends, right? I just felt so horrible not to feel like I could do anything when I saw my friends in like serious pain. So I think that might be a shift she might have soon.
Interesting.
And seeing Warwick using people, it's horrible.
Well, so this is also the climactic step for your arc, which is going to give you 2 acumen, and I'm also going to give you another acumen for this from last session of the step leading toward it. Mm-hmm. So that's a total of 3 for you, and despite these self-revelations, I think obtaining you went looking for the legacy and you found it, right? Yeah. You uncovered the secret of where it was. And so that's going to be a success for you. So that's 1 joy.
That's great. I feel like that also fits in nicely with I finally got that black cube to open with you, right? There was sort of
opening the black
final
cube,
right? Yeah.
It was glorious.
And it was only through the help of my friends. So I think it all sort of fits.
Great. So the only thing that you have in your arc is also the resolution step. And you guys might want to consider using some of your acumen for new arcs, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like my friends have helped me a lot. And I know a couple of you said you didn't feel like you were that helpful. You felt like you were helpful. But it wouldn't have happened without all of you. So thank you.
That's great.
And you all returned home safely.
Yeah.
A lot of Vizsla who don't.
Oh, but one last thing. We did want to, for the resolution of making it to the red, making it home safely, that's 3 additional acumen for everyone.
Oh, great.
From these last 2 sessions.
Oh, excellent.
All right. We'll see how you spend those next time.